Hey Grace, you there? I got a question for you. So how much did Dad's painting sell for anyway?
Mitchell? Are you being serious right now? Are you really so hard up for money right now that you would ask me such an inappropriate question?
Long story short, yeah. So how much are they worth?
How am I supposed to know?
Oh man, so you don't know, huh?
Yeah, and I don't care to know, since I would never in a million years think to sell those paintings. They were Dad's parting gifts to Mom.
Yeah, but Dad managed to make ends meet just on selling his paintings when he was alive, right? Seems to me like if he was able to do that, his paintings must be worth a decent amount.
Yeah, and as long as those paintings are Mom's property, and she has no intention to sell them, then they're not for sale. So it doesn't matter how much money they're worth. End of discussion. Got it?
Aww.
Hey Mom, how are you doing? It's been a while since I was there, so I was thinking about coming back into town this coming weekend. Do you have any plans? I'm doing fine, Grace. Thank you for asking. No, I don't have any plans at all. Feel free to stop by whenever you'd like. You just missed Mitchell and his wife Laura. They came by this morning to chat for a while and asked me to show them your father's old paintings. They did? Why? Laura was so taken with them that she asked if I wouldn't mind giving them a few to decorate their house with. I went ahead and let them take out a couple that they liked. Oh no, Mom! You gotta get them back! Call Mitchell right now and tell him to give them back to you! Why's that, Grace? Your father left them to me, but I consider them to be heirlooms for the whole family. Laura was very interested in seeing them. I don't see what's the problem with letting them put a couple up in their house. I'm sure they'll take perfectly good care of them. I don't see anything to be worried about. Yeah, Mom, I know that those paintings have a lot of sentimental value to you and I, but you can't forget that they also carry a high monetary value. Did you at least tell them explicitly that they're not allowed to sell them? Grace, what's gotten into you all of a sudden? I think you're worrying too much about nothing. Mom, you know Mitchell as well as I do. You know he would sell those in a heartbeat if he wanted to. He has absolutely no financial skills. His paychecks are nearly used up within a day or two of his payday. And just yesterday, he sent me a bunch of messages asking me to tell him how much Dad's paintings are worth. Isn't that suspicious? I got a really bad feeling from the way he was talking. And that's a big reason why I wanted to come home this weekend and make sure he didn't do anything really stupid. I had no idea that derelict would make his move so quickly. I should have messaged you right away after our conversation yesterday. This is all my fault. Grace, I'm telling you, you don't need to worry about a thing, dear. How can you be so relaxed at a time like this? He's definitely going to try and sell Dad's paintings. It's all over and done with, Grace. You don't need to concern yourself with anything. Huh? Wait, what do you mean it's over and done with? That's for me to know, and for you to find out. You're not making any sense! For now, you can come on down here this weekend like you had planned. I'll have your favorite cookies waiting for you when you get here. Mom, this is bad! I just got to Dad's studio, you know, the one where he stored all his paintings. Oh my, Grace, you're here already? You're much earlier than I expected. And you've caught me off guard, too. I was just about to head out to the store to buy the ingredients for your cookies. Mom, listen! The door to Dad's studio was unlocked when I got here. And when I looked inside, the whole place had been cleared out. Every single one of Dad's paintings is gone. Really? I thought this was too much for even them, but I checked the security camera footage and sure enough, Mitchell and Laura were here last night and they stuffed all of Dad's paintings into their car. Do you still have the key to Dad's study? Do you think they might have managed to make a copy of it? We've got to move fast, Mom. If we wait any longer, Mitchell's gonna sell every last one of them. We can't let them get away with this. Do you have any idea where they might have taken them? Grace, please calm down for a moment. Why can't you just explain what's going on, Mom?
Grace, this is bad. Really, really bad. You gotta help me!
Mitchell? What on earth are you so spooked about? What's going on?
I'm in big trouble, Grace. I need help, fast!
Just calm down and tell me what happened and what you need me to help you with.
Okay, well, I sold all of Dad's old paintings the other day.
I knew it! I knew you were planning to sell them.
I had no choice, Grace. I was up to my eyeballs in debt, and I had no other way to pay it off. You'd do it too if you're in my shoes.
Dad? What did you borrow money for?
Well, you know, a little of this, a little of that. But I figured that if I sold Dad's paintings, I could pay it off in one big lump sum. And, well, maybe if there was a little bit left over, then I could spend it on some stuff for myself.
I can't believe you, Mitchell. This is a new low for you. How could you just throw away our memories of Dad like that?
Ugh, save the lecture for later, Grace. Now isn't the time for that. I've got a much bigger problem on my hands. It turns out all the paintings in Dad's study were fakes. None of them were original. Every last one was a fake.
They were fakes? But that doesn't make any sense.
I took them to a professional appraiser to see how much they were worth, and he said that they were all remakes based on Dad's paintings. They weren't actually his paintings. He was 100% positive too. Dad's signature wasn't even on them, so there was no way they were real.
So wait a second. All of the paintings that Dad kept stored in his study, they were all fakes?
Yes, that's what I've been trying to tell you. The appraiser said that they were all copies that were made digitally, then printed off by a computer and placed into a frame. And even the frames were cheap knockoffs.
The story is getting weirder and weirder.
I know, right? I'm still in shock. I can't believe it.
Give me a few minutes, Mitchell. I'm going to talk to Mom for a second. I'll be right back. Hey, Mom, where are you right now? Oh, hello, Grace. I'm at the art museum. There's an exhibit going on with pieces from an acquaintance of mine. An exhibit? Yes, for an artist who was classmates with your father back in art school. I'd met them a couple times over the years as well, so they were kind enough to send me an invitation. But, oh, okay, well, that's nice. But I have something completely unrelated that I need to talk to you about. And it's urgent. Do you have a minute? But of course. How can I help you, dear? I just got a message from Mitchell, and he's super panicked. He said that he just took Dad's paintings to an appraiser, but the appraiser said they were all fakes. And? And? Is that all you have to say about this? I mean, is it true? There's always a possibility that he's lying and that he kept the originals, made the fakes by himself, and took them to the appraiser to cover his tracks. But I don't think Mitchell is that smart. So I guess I have no choice but to take him at his word. That the paintings he took from Dad's studio were legitimately fakes, and he's just surprised as I was. He also said that the appraiser told him that the paintings he had were all digitally drawn copies of the original that were painted off by a computer and placed into frames. Yes, that all sounds right to me. So, and this is just a guess here, but the fake copies that Mitchell and Laura took from Dad's studio, you made them, didn't you? And the painting that you said you gave them yourself a few days earlier, that was another one of your drawings, right? You're a clever girl, Grace. Well, it seemed like a logical conclusion. I knew that you worked as a background illustrator for an advertising firm back in the day, and I thought you had said something about using drawing software with a computer rather than a pen and paper. So, since neither I or Mitchell have any artistic talent whatsoever, the only other person who had both access to Dad's studio and had an art background was you, Mom. You figured that out all by yourself? Truly impressive, dear. Okay, now that that's out of the way, the last remaining question is, why did you do all that? To be honest, I felt that this would be the only possible way to teach that boy a lesson that would set him straight. Go on. It's been a hobby of mine for the last several years to take your father's paintings and do my best to recreate them digitally. Once I felt like I was getting better at copying them, I started printing them out onto full-size paper and placing them into frames to compare them side by side with the real ones. Then, the other day, your brother Mitchell came by, saw one of my most recent copies, and apparently couldn't tell the difference between it and the real one. Oh, is that the one you gave him? The one you messaged me about? Yes, that's the one. They were raving about how beautiful it was and complimenting your father's artistic ability. They seemed so convinced that it was the real thing that I just didn't have the heart to tell them otherwise. They must have taken my key to the studio and copied it when I was packing the frame into the box for safe transportation. And then, the day you came back into town, they waited until I had left the house to go into your father's studio and take all the paintings they thought were real. After that, they went down to the appraiser's place to have them looked at, and the rest is history. By the way, the appraiser they went to also happens to be a friend of your father's, and he called me after Mitchell and Laura left his office to tell me that they had brought my drawings to his store. Wow, you knew the appraiser? I guess that makes sense. It's not a very big art community around here. Yes, your father was quite the popular artist. I'd be surprised if there were any appraisers he wasn't friends with. Your father was quite a shrewd man as well. He foresaw the possibility that Mitchell would try to sell his paintings, and made preparations to cut him off at the pass. He sent out messages through his colossal network of connections in the art world, and made sure that any time any person tried to sell one of his paintings, that they would contact me immediately. Looks like his plan was a resounding success. Yeah, that explains why the appraiser called you. I was wondering about that. Indeed. Mitchell and Laura were still at his office when he called, so I had him tell them that the appraisal would take some more time and send them back home. Then, just today, I had him call Mitchell back and tell him the news, that he couldn't buy the paintings from them because they were fake. My guess is that Mitchell messaged you after getting off the phone with the appraiser. You said he sounded panicked. Wow! I'm really impressed. I never would have thought both you and Dad had planned for such an occasion as this. Oh, and by the way, don't worry about my paintings. The appraiser had them all returned to your father's art studio. And as for the originals, I've had them stored in a much more secure location for years now, so you don't have a thing to worry about, Grace. They're completely 100% safe. Okay, well, that does make me feel a lot better. But that still leaves the issue of Mitchell and Laura's debt. He told me that he was in debt up to his eyeballs and was planning to sell Dad's paintings in order to pay it all off. Yes, and I think it's high time I took care of that boy once and for all. What do you mean, Mom? It's just like I told you before, Grace. That boy's life took a turn for the worse ever since he married that awful Laura woman. I warned him not to marry her, that she would be a bad influence on him, but did he listen to his mother? Of course not. And look at him now, tens of thousands of dollars in debt that he used on exotic trips, fancy dinners, and casinos. Casinos? You mean he went into debt so he could gamble? I take back what I said about him. It's not that he has no financial skills. He's just an irredeemable moron. Good grief! I know how you feel, but I've made arrangements for him as well. You mean there's even more to you and Dad's plan for Mitchell? I told you that it's all over and done with, didn't I? When I said all, I meant it. I've made arrangements for Mitchell to deal with his debt. Oh boy. What did you do, Mom? I did what any responsible parent would do to turn their prodigal son back to the straight and narrow. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to go back to enjoying the art exhibit. Take care, Grace. Stop by whenever you'd like. Oh, sure. Thanks, Mom. Talk to you later.
Grace, you gotta help me!
What is it this time?
This is bad, really bad, like super bad, I mean it.
Okay, I'll bite. What is super bad, Mitchell?
Brackwater!
Brackwater?
A black panel van just pulled up in front of our house and a bunch of guys with ski masks jumped out. They're saying they're with the Brackwater Company.
Oh, they're the military contractor that Mom's cousin worked for a few years ago, right? That actually makes perfect sense. Now I know what Mom meant when she said she had made arrangements for you.
Wait, what do you know about this, Grace? Tell me, please, and fast!
They're a military contractor that operates in a lot of foreign countries that are in various states of civil unrest. And it seems like they've found their two newest recruits.
Recruits? I didn't sign them for anything.
Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is it looks like Mom found you a job where you can work up all the debt you built up. The bad news is you might not be alive long enough to enjoy the debt-free life you've been dreaming of.
You mean I might die? This can't be happening! Grace, you have to do something! Help me!
You think I'm gonna put myself on the line against Brackwater? Sorry, but I have better things to do than go up against a mercenary group like them. Didn't you watch the news? Every time someone tries to blow the whistle about their activities, they end up dying in strange circumstances.
Grace, you can't let them take me, can you?
Actually, I can, and I will.
Grace! No!
I really had Mitchell going with the whole Brackwater bit, didn't I? Well, unfortunately, the people who came to pick him up weren't a shadowy mercenary group. They were from a live-in work education program for derelict adults. Mom was aware they were coming to pick up Mitchell and Laura that night, and she pulled up in her car right after they did. Mitchell and Laura were already loaded into the van when she got there, and she was greeted to a chorus of bangs on the van walls and muffled sounds of terrified screams. She spoke to the leader of the team the two of them would be inducted into for a while about what sort of work they'd be doing over the next year, then turned and walked over to the van. Mitchell had a gleam of hope in his eye when he saw Mom coming, thinking she was going to save him from the terrible fate that awaited him. But she just went up to the window and said, "Have a good time, Mitchell," got back into her car, and drove home. Mitchell and Laura were put right to work in their re-education programs at separate facilities. They're doing everything from construction to sanitation to engine repair and all sorts of skills that might help them land a job that they'll be able to keep for more than a month or so. Hopefully, in between all the back-breaking labor, they'll find at least a little bit of time to reflect on their lives, think about how they got themselves into this situation, and make a plan on how to work their way out.
Livia, there happens to be quite an age difference between you and Ronan, huh? I was surprised when I saw your face. You both look really similar to one another in age, but... I mean, I suppose Ronan still looks good enough to be my husband and all, right?
Harley, what are you trying to say about us? It's a bit weird of you to start texting your husband's sister about all of this. For some reason, I'm getting the idea that you're trying to talk crap to me, yet I'm not sure why you'd want to do something like that with me.
Huh? I'm not trying to talk crap about anything. I'm just trying to talk about how your brother and you seem to look really alike, and I mean that in terms of you really look like a man at your age. Is that not embarrassing for you?
You have no right to be asking me something as rude as that, then. I'm not really sure what you're trying to get at here, but you're starting to upset me, so would you please stop? Do you have any reason to be asking me a question like that? Are you going to get any use from my answer?
You plan on coming to the wedding, right? Having you come to the wedding looking like that is, Don't you feel that you'll be embarrassing your little brother?
Embarrass Ronan. So you want to make fun of me that badly? What do you think you have that allows you to make fun of me like that? Tell me what has led you to treat me this way.
Oh geez, nothing's led me to this actually. But if you were to come to my wedding looking the way you do, then I might have a reason to start hating you more.
And how would me be going to my brother's wedding cause you to hate me more than you already do now? That doesn't make any sense to me.
What? Is that so? I'm sure it does make sense in a way. Naturally, I'd be pretty pissed off if you came.
I understand that you don't like the way I look, but what sense does it make to tell me to stay away from the wedding just because I look the way I do? I don't get it.
You're going to make those around me worry.
What do you mean?
If you look as ugly as you do, then this could mean that my kids will end up looking that bad as well, right? I don't want my family and friends to be worried about things like that. I want to keep you out of view from my family, and that's why I'm saying these things now. I wouldn't want people to start making rumors about you and I as well.
So you're telling me that just because I look like this, you're going to say all those things? I'm not too sure that I look that bad to begin with, so I think it would be wise to stop talking about me like that. I really don't get how you believe making fun of me like that is acceptable, especially when I'm your sister-in-law now.
Then let me tell it to you straight. My wedding has to be perfect. My dream is to have a perfect wedding for all my guests. Yet if you walked in there looking like you do, who's to say what everyone might start to think about me?
What everyone might think? I don't think anyone will care about how I look. I just plan to attend the wedding because I'm Ronan's sister.
I'm going to have to become family to some ugly chick. And to make it all worse, you're not even married. You're going to be like some heavy baggage to this family. I feel so bad for myself. You have to understand what I'm saying here, right? That's why I hate the idea of you being there. Don't come, please.
So you're saying you don't want me to come to that wedding to protect your image?
Well, that's right. You understand me, right?
I'm not going to deal with this. I don't even get how you became this awful of a person, Harley. I suggest that from now on you think about what you have to say before you speak. Or else you might be tying the very noose that'll hang you.
It's crazy that even after all those warnings I gave you, you still rolled up to my wedding. Are you looking to be embarrassed or something?
Harley, don't you think it's time you gave all that up? I'm at this wedding today to meet with my family and friends, as well as enjoy my brother's wedding. You do not have any right to be stopping me from doing all that.
Shut up already, you ugly woman.
So you're still going to come at me with those rude phrases?
You're my sister-in-law, so how about you shut up and listen? Do you really want to embarrass both yourself and your cute little sister-in-law? I'm married to a very successful doctor now who happens to be your little brother. I will not let you ruin our very special day today with those looks of yours.
I happen to be a doctor myself, you know.
And I'm a woman who's been chosen to be the wife of a doctor. I've already gone and bragged about this to all my family and friends, therefore I have to have the most perfect wedding today. I really can't imagine having some ugly family member here ruining my dream right now, yet it seems to already be happening.
You really need to calm yourself down, Harley.
Before Ronan's boss gets here, I want you gone. You aren't any family worth our time and success anymore, so get lost. We don't have all day to wait for you to leave, so get on with it, you disgraceful hag.
If you're really going to say things like that, then I guess I understand the kind of person you really are deep down.
So you finally learned your place in this family? You don't want to ruin your brother's wedding today by being here, right? If you really do understand what I'm asking and saying, then shut up and go home. This is for the best when it comes to everyone here. It's a frickin' disgrace to have an ugly woman like you at this wedding. The owner of that hospital Ronan works at is coming really soon and will be giving a speech for us. So go already.
Are you sure things will be fine without me here?
Of course they will be.
I see. Guess I'm going home then. Take care of my brother for me.
You'd better be gone by the time the owner gets on stage to give that speech. I don't want to start getting physical with you or anything like that today.
I see that you're so happy to be ordering me to leave like that, but you're going to regret all of that real soon, you know.
I have zero reason to regret any of this.
Well then, I'll be doing as you've asked and heading home now. After this, I don't think you and I will ever be talking to one another again. So please take good care of my brother today.
Things have gotten really bad here. Livia! Hey, Livia! Where are you right now? Answer your phone already!
So now that your wedding is kicked off, you probably learned about the person that I am.
Why did you never tell me about this? Livia, you're the owner of that hospital?
That's right. And I've already gone home, so whatever you're going to ask for, it's already too late.
What? You really went home already? But you couldn't have gone that far, right? Come back here without making it seem obvious that you left. Please?
Huh? Why do I have to go back to the wedding now?
Because you're supposed to be the main guest at this wedding today. Everyone is excited to meet you and are patiently waiting around for you to come out and give that speech. Actually, because you're not here, we aren't really able to do anything else. Come back here right now.
Come on, even if you figured that all out now and want to text me about it, I don't want to come back.
Why not? I didn't know about who you were is all. If you're going to be the one that everyone is looking forward to seeing today, then of course you can be at my wedding. I never actually thought someone like you could be the hospital owner.
I actually have something to ask you. Why did you not know who I was? My dad ended up changing his position 2 years ago and I was made the new owner. And now my dad is the chairman. Could that mean that my brother never told you anything about this?
Wait, well now that you mention all of that, I do feel as though he explained all of that before. But I wasn't really listening to him at the time. I didn't think you could be the hospital owner. And I just assumed that until Ronan would become the next owner, someone else was running the show that nobody knew about. Maybe your guys' uncle or something.
Wow. All of that seems to be just some wild dream you had. I'm the hospital owner and today was the day I would be giving the speech and be considered the most important guest at your wedding. You never went and checked on something like that even before the wedding?
I never had a look at the name of the person giving the speech today. All I knew was that the owner would be coming and giving that speech.
So you never heard anything about me coming?
That's correct. Even Ronan just said that the hospital's owner would be coming. He never said that the hospital owner was going to be you, of all people.
I'm sure that's right. He works under me after all and probably forgot to refer to me as his sister instead of as the owner. But you should have still been aware that I am the current owner of the hospital. He had to have brought that up with you at some point before today. I assume myself that you knew who I was this whole time even.
Well, I'm telling you now that I had no idea. I never meant to be mean to you about any of that.
You never meant to. Even though you were calling me ugly all of that time without any restraint.
I didn't mean to say all that.
Realize this, Harley. It's one thing that I'm the owner your husband is working for. But before you even knew about that, you knew that I've been your husband's older sister. You have joined my family, and now you should consider me something like your older sister yourself, right? Yet you seem to not bother with that knowledge whatsoever and still continued saying very rude things to me. And today you kicked me out of your guys' wedding, all so that your image wouldn't be harmed. Even just thinking about all of this has made me give up on you completely.
Don't give up on me. Please, right now things are starting to become tense here. If you don't come back here now, your brother will even find out what's happened. Please, come back to the wedding and sneak in for me right now.
You really want me to? Tell me then, what's in it for me? What merits are there that would make me want to come back to your wedding?
What? Merits? What are you trying to ask there? What merits?
Just a little while ago, you went all out on me in order to get me to leave, right? Don't you feel as though you're being a little rash right now by asking me to come back there after all those hurtful things you said to me? If there's something in it for me, then I might think about coming back. But I'm thinking there's not one merit to going back there.
The merit to all this is that you'll be able to get closer to me.
That's a lot of confidence you have there. It's quite strange to think that something as unfortunate as that would be a merit for me. Honestly, I'm planning to cut ties to you completely here soon.
What? What do you mean, cut ties to me?
You went ahead and really did it by being extremely rude to someone you barely even knew. Did you actually want me to stick around to be your family member? Because I remember you saying that I'm like heavy baggage to the family. And I don't even view you as family anymore. All you are to me now is the idiot witch that my little brother decided to tie the knot with.
Hold on a second. Don't you think you're being a little too harsh?
I just spoke with my brother about why I'm not there. He just asked me where I'd gone and I had to tell him the truth.
What? You're lying, right? What did you tell him? You never said anything unnecessary, right?
And what would you consider to be unnecessary? Because if you consider the truth unnecessary, then I might have just done that. What I said is that you continued to call me ugly and that you didn't want me at your wedding. And that for the longest time now you've gone out about how me coming to your wedding would cause problems for everyone. I'd had enough of your crap and left before the wedding even started. That's what I told him.
Hold on. You actually said all of that to him? Saying things like that about what happened to him will get him all upset, right?
Having someone as calm as Ronan get upset will most likely spell the end for you.
What have you done? It's going to be your fault that his wedding is ruined. Ronan's going to lose his mind knowing about all that now. And that will lead to this whole wedding being canceled because of it.
And that would be considered getting what you asked for, right?
What I asked for? What?
Everything that you were saying to me all this time, it's all coming back to bite you in the butt now. How come you don't understand that? This is what you were asking for, right? Why are you getting all worked up over the fruits of your labor now?
But wait, had you just explained to me yourself that you're the owner of that hospital, and that you happen to be Ronan's boss, then none of this would be happening. Had you not said any of that useless crap to Ronan about me, then he would have never found out, right? This is all your fault, Livia. Don't you get that right now?
When are you going to shut up? Listening to you go on and on is so stupid that I'm actually starting to laugh.
What? Why do you say that?
First thing you should understand is that all of those stupid and heartless things you were saying to me all pissed me off. And that then led to my brother getting pissed off. It doesn't matter anymore that I told him the truth or not. It never did, actually. All of this was because of those things that you said to me. Those horrible, cruel things.
But even if I was saying those things to you, you knew there was a reason for all of it.
Your reason being that you were trying to protect your image doesn't mean anything to me when you're that selfish about everything. I don't care about any of that. So there. I really do think that someone like you, who would talk that awfully to your own family and ask them to leave your wedding because they will ruin your image, should not be married to a doctor at all. but that's just my thinking.
What? Wait, Ronan just said that the wedding is being cancelled. Did you say something else to him that made him want all of this?
I didn't say anything else to him. I believe he's made a choice based off of what you did to me. Well then, it really sucks that you weren't able to have that perfect dream wedding of yours. Now, don't you ever come around me again.
Wait, Livia! I just wanted to be happy today. Please, come back here and fix things between Ronan and I.
You can have the most pretty-looking face in the world, but with a soul as rotten as yours, you're never going to become happy, I think. In the end, the wedding between Harley and Ronan was cancelled, and I'd like to say that that's the best outcome. Harley ended up bawling her eyes out after that and was trying to plead and beg for the wedding to go on. Ronan told her he could never actually get married to someone who would go and make horrible statements like she'd made about a family member. And that right there spelled the end of them two for having a future together. Harley then tried coming to me and getting her on her hands and knees to apologize for what she'd done, but there was no way I would listen to her anymore. After ignoring her final attempt at having things fixed up for herself, she was left sitting in despair. I'm sure she has no idea what she's going to do next with her life now, but I bet it'll do a lot of sitting in her house depressed, waiting for someone to come over and save her. This was the depressing life that she kept asking for when she made fun of my looks and said that I'd be a heavy baggage for the family, and now she's going to have to live with it. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you in the next story.